I've got Ashwin Yogesh who's organized this. And if you are an entrepreneur out there who wants to be featured in our series, please do contact Ashwin Yogesh and we'll set you up for one of the episodes. Today's guest is Smriti Nagpal. She has founded a social enterprise called Atulyakala, and whose tagline is empowering the deaf artist through design. I guess that gives you an idea. Welcome, Smriti. Welcome to the Hangout.
Thank you so much.
Smriti, tell us about Atulyakala, please.
Yes, so Atulyakala is my brainchild. I started it last year. In Atulyakala, we are actually trying to foster the deaf and mute hearing deaf and mute individuals of India through
Right.
design. Like anybody who belongs to the community of deaf and mute and who's capable enough and who has the creativity and he needs a platform to bring it up. We're trying to provide that platform where they connect with the mainstream people. They come in, they collaborate with the mainstream designers, and they come up with projects. So that is the whole gist of it of Atulyakala.
What are the reasoning behind the name Atulyakala, Smriti?
Okay, so I'll break Atulyakala in two parts. Atulya means unparalleled. And art means kala. Like kala means art, right?
I see.
So Atulyakala means unparalleled art. It somewhere signifies the whole part of it that deaf people, since how we take them, how we understand them, that we have this cliched mindset of maybe they are not that much up to the level, or somewhere we still not feel that they belong to the same level where we belong to. So that's
Uh-huh.
breaking that law. It's unparalleled art. That's why it's Atulyakala.
What is the size of this community in India? Can you give us a bit of background about this community?
Uh, so surprisingly, India has the largest population of deaf in the world. We have 18 million deaf people, which is like a huge number. But since it's one invisible disability, because if you walk and there's some guy who's walking just next to you and he's deaf and mute, you will never realize it because you cannot see the disability through the appearance of the person. So that's why somewhere we're not able to realize that they are like present in huge numbers. 18 million is like, you can imagine how big it is.
What is the story behind starting this? I mean, what brings you to this community and your motivation for it?
So I have actually grown up in a family where for me sign language was as important as Hindi or English or any regional language for any child. My two elder siblings who are 10 years elder to me, they both are hearing impaired, and so when I was born they were like already 10. My brother was 11, so I got this thing of this hang of learning sign language. So I used to call my sister. I used to help them communicating with my parents. I started doing it, and I developed a liking for it. And I guess I was 16 when I actually first did my official interpreting for the deaf community in India.
Uh-huh.
And since then, it's just getting into me. I've been religiously following it. So
So how long has
that
Atulya Kala been around? How many years can you say?
I started Atulyakala last February last
Uh-huh.
year.
Okay, so maybe a year and
Like
a half approximately, yeah.
yes.
So share with us some of the initial challenges you faced when you started formally setting up Atulya Kala.
So actually, Atulyakala, I joined Doordarshan as I read the news bulletins there, and after that, actually, I really this was not my initial idea. My idea was just to do something with the community, but I used to meet all the people from the community every now and then, and that's how I met this one guy who is a senior artist in Atulyakala now, Amit Vardhan, and he actually he's also a deaf artist, and he has a master's degree in fine arts from College of Arts, which is a
I
very
see.
reputed college. So he came to me and he said that I do this, and he was working in some NGO, and the work he was doing there was he was not satisfied with the work. Like he was not meant to do that work, but due to his financial conditions and everything, he joined it. So I met him, and I actually came across this idea that why not take this art form somewhere else? Why we restricting it to only NGOs and handicrafts? And because they just get lost somewhere in the crowd, nobody's able
Right.
to actually see them. So
Right.
that's how I evolved and I worked on it, and a Tulikala idea came up. So we started it last year, and the challenges were pretty difficult because first was to actually separating Atulikala from some NGO. Like I never wanted to be called as an NGO because it's not, it's a social enterprise. That
Uh-huh.
was one challenge we faced. Second was to build up the trust on the deaf community itself
Right.
because there's so much exploitation happens that it was difficult for me to actually build up the trust with them.
Right.
So yeah,
And your
there were
sign
many
language helped, your background helped in that, right? Building up the trust. You knew a bit of
immensely.
sign language. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
So,
they
so let's get
actually.
it.
So
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, ask.
So let's get into the technical aspects of this platform. I mean, the model that you operate. You have a bunch of artists. You have a platform where you give visibility. Can you explain the exact model? Do you have partnership with these artists? How does that structured right now?
So right now the thing is that we are a team of like right now we have three deaf people, like actually two deaf people who are actually full time working with us, who are
Uh-huh.
on the payroll basis, and then we have few more deaf artists who are working as freelancers with us. So when we get a
Right.
project which is related to them, where we feel that this will fit in in his skills and by his abilities, we connect both the communities, like the mainstream and the deaf artists, and that's how we take it ahead. So right now it's not that all of them are on payroll, but we have few, and we have the equal amount of hearing people also who collaborate with them.
So you're
So
also connecting people to projects out there as well as displaying their art as well in a shop, right? In
yes,
an online shop. I
yes.
see your products
So,
from there, right?
yes. So the
So
products which we have are like designed by the collaboration of deaf and hearing creative individuals. It's like they
I
both
see.
collaborate it and create it.
So how does since you're a social enterprise and you're for profit, I'm assuming you have a revenue model, you've structured it. Can you share? I don't need the numbers and everything, but just at a high level, can you share how do you do it so that other people in similar place can get idea of how to go about it?
So actually, we actually run on three different parallels. The first one
Uh-huh.
is like what the first one is just about spreading awareness of sign language and the deaf community across youth and all the other people. So we have
Right.
projects which are totally socially based, like only like we have workshops where we don't charge anything and totally for the community. Second
Okay.
is where we have products. So the cash flows through this parallel. The cash flows through the product. We sell it through online portal. Then we have collaborations with other marketplaces. We have few import connections where we import the stuff outside India, and then we have exhibitions every now and then. So this is
So,
one part from where we get the inflow of cash.
okay. Okay.
And then one more parallel is design studio. So we also we take commission projects, design commission projects, where the deaf people come and they work with the mainstream designers, and they do the designer commissioned projects for the
So you
clients.
so you take a percentage of all those connections that you make, right? I mean, to pay for your expenses and everything, right?
Yes.
Is it a flat fee or is it a percentage of the deal size?
So for the commission projects, it depends on like we in the organization we divide it. Like what happens is that we don't really. It's not only like we only pay salaries to them, but when we feel that their work has been really like they have worked a lot on the particular project, so we commission it on the basis of the work they have done.
I see. So it could be ad hoc or customized. It's completely customized.
Yes,
I see.
yes.
I see. I see. What I mean, initially funding, you put your money in it. Is it? I mean, did you bootstrap it or did you have some external funder?
Was total scrapping. I
So
was
you
not
boot.
too keen on getting it funded because I was too skeptical about it that maybe the whole essence will get lost, and also I was able to bootstrap it for a while, so I just thought it's better to do it that way. But I think it depends on the whole idea of it and how you want to. If you want other people to join and fund it, it's like totally up to the project and the people who are running it.
But you're open to funding for Atulyakala as such, right? I mean,
Yes, of course. I'm sure it will because in a future plan we have future plans for the people who are working for us to take it ahead. So for that, I'm sure funding will be a it'll help us because right now we're in a position that if funding will come in, it'll not change anything. Any sort of it'll not create any changes in the project or in the work we are doing. We have reached that level now that
I
we are
see.
like
I see.
yes.
Now, I want to go back to a point you made about tying up with existing retailers. Can you just elaborate on that? for a second?
Um, Retailers as in
Have
so
you tied
we
up with like Flipkart or Amazon or anybody
yes,
specific? I mean, you
yes,
don't have to name any names, but
yes. So
just
actually, the thing is that we majorly focus on online selling
uh-huh.
because we like cover the more of geographical area. So we
Right.
have our products not only on our portal but then on other portals too, who are like doing good in their respective business. So we are selling our products through their platform also.
I see.
That
Okay.
is
I see. Okay, I'm going to move on to the team. I mean, are you a one-person founder? Do you have a co-founder? How have you structured it?
so yes, I am here, and then I have a co-founder with whom I started it. He's
Uh-huh.
also a designer for us, who takes care of the design work, which you have seen on our page and our website. He takes care of that. Then we
Right.
have Mr. Amit, who is the senior deaf artist in Atulyakala, and then we
Okay.
have another guy who is also a deaf and mute artist, and he's a photographer who takes care of the photography. And we just recently did a photography exhibition for him, so he
I see.
displayed his work. Yeah.
I see.
So
But
we are the
when you set it up, did you set it up as a legal social enterprise? I mean, how, what? Just a quick comment on that, if
the
you can. How did you structure your enterprise?
so yeah, I right now I mean, as I said, it's not any NGO. It's like a social enterprise. So we have got our name registered, and it's like our brand name is registered, but not like legally. Yeah, all the formalities which are required to start up a business, we've completed that, and that's how we began, like started.
I see. I see. And now, when you found a co-founder, did you go looking for a technical co-founder, or did you look for a design co-founder? How, I mean, what was your thought process
So,
when you started to
so
look for
actually, what
one?
happened? This co-founder was also a friend of mine. We were working on a very different project that time, and so I just met him and I told him about when I met this when I met Mr. Amit. I just came back and I told Harshit, the co-founder, that this is what is going in my mind. What do you think about it? Since he's from the College of Art, so I thought he'll give me a better idea. And he said, let's take it ahead. And then we both sat and we finally visualized the whole idea. So it was not that I actually searched for a co-founder, but it just happened to me that we just came into the same conclusion of taking it ahead.
But
So
setting up a portal and all this technical stuff requires some technology knowledge. Was
yes,
that
so
a
we had
hassle for you? Yeah.
not too much because I think it's not that difficult to set up all this if even if you're not from a technology background,
Uh-huh.
since now it's everything is like too handy and too easy to handle. I think I don't belong to any technological background, but even I'm able to handle these things. But yes, we had a guy who was that time doing his internship with us last year,
Uh-huh.
and he's from a technology background, and he totally helped us in like setting up SEOs and all those technical terms, and he
Yeah,
helped
like
us.
credit card processing and stuff I saw on your site. So I'm assuming he did quite a bit for you that way. It's very well set up actually, your site, as I spent some time.
But that's all
Uh,
time work with Harshit, so that's
Oh, really?
totally.
Well, you've done a good job. Now, tell me, let's go to marketing. You have two audiences, right? I mean, you have your getting more of your community, the deaf community, onto your platform. That is to market to them, actually saying that there's some, advantage for them to be with you, and then also getting people to buy their products. How do you do marketing for both these audiences?
So we wanted to create a brand which was by deaf people and also somewhere for them. So we are actually the USP of Atulyakala is that we are trying to so now we are focusing on even the graphics and everything should be sign language oriented. We are revamping our product line and our website so that it is like totally sign language oriented somewhere. So marketing generally it's like it's mostly 90% online. We are actually targeting the youth by of course Facebook page we have, and then the online portal. But that's like the biggest like the main focus of our selling point, and the
Hmm.
marketplaces. We have a lot of exhibitions which we do here. Because of that, when people come in, we don't only give the product to them, but we explain the whole process behind it. So we
Right.
have those little booklets and little few things which we distribute every time so that they understand the whole process behind it and not only just buy it because of the appearance of the product. And then we have few interns who are from colleges, and they are like helping us to set up workshops in their respective colleges. So that's another part of it where we are able to market the whole idea and the products. So that's how the marketing works for
Just to
us.
get an idea of the future you're looking at, what is your, 5-year plan looking at, or are you making like short-term goals and long-term goals? I'm just trying to get an idea of where you're trying to scale it up.
Yes. So in the future, it's I we what we visualize and we see is that we want to have Atulyakala as a brand which sells products which cater to the urban market, which are very much designer and quirky. Second is that we want to create a design studio where clients are coming in not to just get work from the mainstream designers but also the dev designers. So there's like it's a inclusive design studio of both the communities. There's no gap between both the communities.
I
And the
see.
third is that we want more and more people to know about sign language. So we are also trying to have in a future have a institute where we can teach the deaf and mute artists who are doing the art from traditional forms, paintings and all art colors, to take it digitally, because they don't have any such place where people teach them how to take their work digitally, how to grow in their respective fields. So we want to have that sort of institute in a near future to
But
train them.
it looks like there are three or four, ideas within the same, larger idea for this community.
As
I
I
mean,
said, yes.
yeah. So which one, isn't that a little too much that you're trying to do everything?
No, so actually, I feel all this goes simultaneously hand in hand. I just don't think I can totally only focus on the awareness part and skip the commercial aspect. And I
Uh-huh.
also think I can't totally focus on the commercial part and skip the social aspect, because it's just both the things go hand in hand. So we are coming up with a project which is totally social, but we have to cover it up with a commercial aspect. So I think, yeah, this is the three important parallels and pillars which we work on.
I see. Sounds like you have it well thought out. What are your lessons learned looking back in the last 1.5 years? I know you don't, you're still young. What are some of the lessons? Give us like a couple of lessons very quickly. We're running short on time. I still have some questions. So very quickly, we'll move through this couple of next questions.
Sure. I'm still learning though, but yes, too many the biggest lesson I've learned it that we should not run behind perfection. Like we tend to run behind perfection and we skip on to the idea that how to take it ahead, because we are totally so engrossed in making it perfect. That is one thing I've learned.
Right?
Second is it's not always follow your heart. Like even though you really want to follow your heart every time, but we have to somewhere think rationally. That is what I have learned, because I tend to get too inclined towards the follow my heart policy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Some of the
yes.
things you need to work on. Who are your role models? Name one.
Okay, so I would say Helen Keller, because you must be knowing about her. She's
Yeah.
the yeah. So Helen Keller is one, but my motivation come from my sister, like my brother and my sister and my family, like the people who have raised me. That's one
No, but
thing. And
just do give a one sentence on who Helen Keller is.
so Helen Keller is she's the name, I would say an image when you think of deaf community about sign language. She's that one image which comes. Helen Keller, who developed the whole community, who brought them into the world.
I
Actually,
see.
she was
I see.
yes.
So, a question from Salil is, how did Jagriti Yatra play a role in, in your venture? He says the exact thing is starting your new venture. I assumed you started before the Yatra, but I mean, do share on how Jagriti Yatra, influenced or helped or whatever.
Jagriti was one amazing time, amazing best time of my life, I would say. And since I was very much focused on what I want to do even before going to the Jagriti, but when I went there, a lot of new doors opened for me, a lot of new ideas, and I met a lot of amazing people. So one important thing that happened was that now when I'm really low sometimes, or I feel that things are not working out, I can totally have so many number of people who I can relate to and feel inspired. So I'm sure Jagrati helped me immensely with connecting to people, learning experiences. It gave me a boost, a kickstart. So
Now that you've been on the Yatra, what are some of the advices that you would give to Yatris, out there who are still in the early stages of starting out? Any one piece of advice you would give?
yes, I would say everything comes down to networking and connecting to people.
Hmm.
When you are in a startup, when you're working on a startup, I think we should, and you should not keep your idea to yourself. The more you spread your idea, the more it'll grow. So take it ahead, get it out, like take the idea out, share it with people, see. I'm sure a lot of people will connect to it, talk it out, and it'll help a lot. Keeping it within you and just thinking over it, brainstorming doesn't help much.
That's a great advice. Thank you, Smriti. I'm going to. Is anybody want to ask questions? Please get in right now. We have a couple of minutes, so if you want to ask questions, keep the questions brief, answers brief as well, so that more people can ask. Anybody? Anybody want to ask questions?
Hi, this is Shiva from Chennai.
Hi.
Hi. So I got to know about your initiative through the video on the Hangout page, and it's very beautiful to know that something like that's happening. A couple of us are over here. I'm with Fahad. Both of us were on the 2012 Yatra, and I just wanted to know. The video says, step up or contribute towards this beautiful thing. So both of us are freelance photographers. We are creative artists ourselves. So we were just wondering if we wanted to be a part of this amazing initiative of yours in some little way from Chennai. What do you think we could do?
Of course. So we are like people who just don't we go crazy sometimes thinking of new ideas. So and photography, as I said, I have a deaf photographer who's learning photography and he's taking his skills like professionally. I'm sure we are actually coming with a few projects for him. We can discuss it ahead, like I mean, we can talk it out. I have few things in mind in terms of photography and this field you are in. So I'm sure we can contribute to this whole cause.
Smriti, you want to share your email address so people can
Yes.
contact you?
So, yes. My email ID is Smriti, that's SMRITI @Atulyakala, ATULYAKALA.com.
Okay.
Rishi, are you done,
If you want,
Fahad and Shiva?
Shiva, yeah, we're done. That was a
All right,
question.
great.
thank
So
you so
Rishuppreet
much.
has the next question. Rishuppreet had a question which said, "Was how do you connect to your designers and have them work for you?"
My designers.
Yeah.
So we have like one in-house designer who's like there here all the time. That is one thing, and then we have few interns who are working on us with project wise. Are you talking about deaf designers or the
Yeah, I
hearing?
think that's what probably she's talking about. Yeah.
So see, it gets little easy for me, and like I am like since I know the language, since they connect to me, because there's no communication gap. So just the way we connect to the hearing artist, the same way I connect to the deaf and mute artists, because I don't feel any sort of communication gap between the both communities. So I'm like, there's no gap to it. So it's no difference for me. Like it goes like same.
Right. Right. Anybody else have a question?
Amruta, you have a question?
Anybody have questions? Amrita, we can't hear you. Amrita, we can't hear you. I think you're talking. We can't hear you.
Hey Anand, this is Ashutosh. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ashutosh.
Hey Smriti, this is Ashutosh. Very nice to know about your initiative. I really appreciate that. What I want to know is about your team. How big is your team, the initial team, and tell us more about your team.
So, right now we are like four core members who are working full time for the organization, which I mentioned. One is the designer, one photographer, one artist, and that there's one me. And we have few interns who join when part time. Like they come like 3-4 times a week, and they work on particular projects with us. But we are like four core members who are working full time.
Amruta, can you come online now?
Any other questions, guys? You can type your question. I can read out if you have problems. I guess that does it, Smriti. I don't see any other questions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so
Um,
much. It was lovely.
it's been such a pleasure. We wish you the best ahead. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for the Google Hangout series. Thank you for participating. We'll see you next time. And if you want to participate in it, please drop a note to Ashwin. You as an entrepreneur can be featured in it. Thank you. See you next time. Bye.